Big up, guys. Big up, guys. Welcome to this, the buzz. Um, yeah, cricket stream again. Um, discussing um, an utter shambles from England in the Ashes, basically. And apologies for this being late, delayed. Um, Other things sort of happened. I was trying to get on here about six, and obviously, other things turned up. I can get on here. I was delayed, so apologies there, guys. But I know there's not always many cricket fans watching my stream, so and there probably isn't now. I don't know. There's nobody in the live chat, but obviously this was important to me to come on and talk about all this. I was going to try. I was hoping to have some guests, but they're not able to come on now. So I will be going through it all on my own, having a bit of a rant about it probably as well. And got to get these things out in the open. What's going on with the England cricket? It's disgusting. But before I do, I've got some good other news to announce that I'm now on 200 subs. So thanks everyone that's done that and subbed and supported me as usual throughout this year. Obviously, we're coming to the end of the year almost. Well, it's got Christmas Day on Wednesday, of course. So yeah, it's rapidly coming towards the end of 2025, and we'll be soon in 2026. And you know, I've had some great support again this year. So thank you guys. For everything you've done. It's been amazing. And now I've got to 200. So thanks guys. That means so much. And I will be doing a celebration stream, of course. Possibly later actually. I'm thinking about maybe 8 o'clock, possibly I'll do one. But we'll see. It may not, it might be tomorrow now, but hoping to do one later on as I'm up to that 200 milestone. That'd be amazing. I mean, I was on 201 actually. I was on 201, but I lost the sub. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm not going to moan. I'm happy I'm up to 200. Always grateful for anything. It's always a bonus if you sub or not, or you just watch the show, you like it, or whatever else. You're just watching it, or whatever, or you come in the live chat. That's great. So I'm happy with any of that, guys. And of course, you're. So actually, I have to do this ticker. Hold on a minute, guys. I forgot to do this, and I should have done. So I'm going to change that now. Yep. So as you can see there, guys, I've done on the ticker now. Added this. Many thanks for getting me to 200 subs this year. But keep subbing from now and into the new year, guys. As keep those subs going up. Onwards and upwards, It's all good, Great to have all your support, guys. It's brilliant, amazing. And, hopefully I'm looking forward to some more next year. I'll get plenty more of this. And I always like to put my content out, get plenty of content out. If I'm rewarded for it, so be it. If not, I will still get my content out no matter what. But anyway, I'm here to talk about the cricket. And England lost the Ashes in the space of 11 days, guys. Just 11 days it's taken us to lose these Ashes. Well, we didn't have them in the first place. So basically, the Aussies have retained them. Have actually retained the Ashes. So we never had them to begin with, and we're not going to have them at all until maybe 2027 at home. But we have to now think about trying to try and win at least a game or two, a test or two, I should say, and at least make it, if good, 3-2. If not, maybe 4-1 or something, but at least get something on the board and a bit of pride. But that's not the main issue here. The main issue is we've not been good enough. Apparently we've been told these Aussies are the worst team, well, as Stuart Broad said, since 2010, 2011. This is the worst Australian team. And that is total bollocks, by the way, guys. Absolute bollocks. Yes, they're weaker. They are a bit weaker. They had no Hazelwood to begin with, no Cummins in the first couple of test matches. Neither of them. No, Lyon was missing for a while as well. They were really massively weak, and Steve Smith was out of this last one, and we still couldn't win. The thing is, I think we have got a good team. I think there are some good players there. But they just don't do it enough. There's a major lot of inconsistency involved here. And yes, I think there is some talent. No doubt we've got some talent. But it's been found out and found lacking in this. And no matter how weaker the Aussies are, they've still got some great players that come through and they still always turn up and do the work and, and come back and show strength and determination and work on it. They're patient. They will change their strategies, their tactics, their whatever. England won't do it. They've been stubborn, absolutely stubborn. Over this, 4 years, 5 years, maybe 4 years since McCullum took over. And we've just been hearing, well, no, we're going to do it our way. It's our way or the highway. We're going to stick with this. Well, they didn't label it baseball. And actually England themselves said they don't like it this term. The head coach and so forth, the team. I don't like this slogan, this thing of being called baseball. They don't like it themselves. It's just a more, apparently for them, entertaining form. They like to take on the bowlers, go after the bowlers, don't let them settle. But you can't keep playing that way every single time. You've got to think. You've got to be patient. You've got to grind out an innings at times. You can't just keep going after the ball every single time. You will be found out. And as bad, so you could say the Aussies, well, I don't think they have been that bad. I think they've been a very good team. And they're still a very good team. No matter what, players they have been missing or so forth, they've still been good enough to beat us. That's the thing, isn't it? That is the issue. They've been still good enough to beat us, no matter what we said or what anyone has said. And that is an embarrassment for us. And, we're supposed to have some very good players here, but they haven't turned up for this. There's been talk, they've been over-prepared. Well, they haven't. They've been under-prepared. And, we all know that. And it's been found out because they haven't had enough preparation and they didn't want to do it. They've been told what they could have gone and done. And big up to you, Aussies. Hope you well, bro. Everything's good. I'm on 200 subs now, bro. So I'm going to be doing a stream probably tonight, actually, to celebrate that. So I am on 200 subs. So hopefully doing one tonight. I don't know what time. Maybe 8, but I don't know. It depends how long I take with this. But yeah, I'm going to actually, congrats on 200 subs, bro. Yeah, thank you, man. That's great. Thank you, brother. I'm really gonna celebrate, like it's 2025. Well, it's soon it'll be 2026, so that won't be long. That's more than what City get in their match day. Yeah. Yeah, at the Etihad. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, and shame about you lot, by the way. Well, I said Villa would win. I predicted that. I think a 2-1 Villa against United. So that's what happened. But I was just happy we beat Wolves because I was dreading that. I thought if we lose to them, that'd be embarrassing. But no, it was a fairly comfortable win for us in the end. So very happy. But let's get into this, guys. Really, I've got to start getting into this. This is what I'm on here for. And I'm just going to bring this up. And there it is. That's what it says here. The Ashes 2025-26, Brendan McCullum concedes England future in hands of others after 11-day series defeat. Brendan McCullum has called on England to show their identity in the final 2 Ashes tests. So we've got 2 tests left. So now we have to make sure we don't get annihilated 5-0. That would be horrible. And it's happened before. 5-0 is in a not too distant past has happened at least a couple of times. So it's not beyond that. But if we can play better than we have and we've shown signs, but it's been too little too late recently, that in that last one we sort of ground out a bit and we lasted and we only lost by 82 runs in that one the other day. But that's been severely lacking. And we've been out too easily, doing the same shots, the same thing, the same mistakes. And it hasn't been good enough. And we have been found lacking, I'm afraid. And there are quite a few main reasons for that, I think. Yeah, so Brendan McCullum has called on England to show their identity in the final 2 Ashes tests as the tourists look to avoid a series whitewash against Australia. A result that could leave his future as head coach in an even more precarious position. So let's be honest, if they do lose 5-0, this guy has to walk. He really has to walk. Nothing else. Yeah, if they win 2 games, maybe he gets a stay of execution. I mean, you know, you can't keep ripping it up and starting again every time. There is that. But, you know, at the end of the day, what's happened here? You know, yes, it's been exciting for a few years and a few games and a few tests that we sort of won. Well, I think against the lower teams that, you know, you'd always fancy us to beat. The West Indies now are not the same, and we beat them easily. Yes, we beat Pakistan, but then again, they can't always turn up and be a great team. They are every now and again. They're a surprise team, and they can produce things and win. But that was always going to happen. We were going to beat them. Yes, New Zealand are, I think, a very good team, of course. And actually a very, very good team. But, yeah, we beat them at times, easy enough. But, you know, against the bigger ones, again, India, we lost there. We lost. We drew at home with them as well. And they're not that team anymore. They're not that big team anymore, India. And under Gambia, they've suffered as well. They're not that massive team anymore. So, you know, we still struggled against these bigger teams, the Indians, Australia, whatever. Even South Africa now as well. And when at one stage we were doing well against them and always dominated against them, mainly South Africa. But they've now got on top of us. And, you know, it's not good enough. And this sort of Bazball era, as we're all calling it, hasn't worked out. Overall, it started great. You know, we had to change the way of our cricket. We had to change the structure of what we were trying to do. And yeah, it worked for a little bit. But overall, you know, against these bigger teams, it's not been good. It's not been good enough. And be up to you, Luca. Hope you're well, bro. Hope you're all good. I watched your stream earlier. That was great. Questions and answers, things, Q&A. Brilliant. Yeah, congrats. Yeah, cheers, bro. Yeah. Yeah, hi, Irish. Yeah, and so, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, it's just not been good enough. But what will happen? What will we get any better if we get rid of this guy? If we actually totally rip up the whole what we've done and start all over again? Will we actually get any better? Will we change things around just like that? You know, just like that. Will it happen? I'm not so sure. But now, if they feel they've learned and learned from their mistakes, well, it is too little, too late. Let's be honest, because they've lost this series. And if they do finish up 5-0, Ashes defeat, it's not great. But can they change their way of play? I mean, they've shown they can now. And McCullum has come out and admitted he's made mistakes. I think it's a bit too late. And now I think he's doing it to cover his arse and say that he's now, made mistakes and he feels he could do things right. But where was that before? Suddenly he says about it all. When a lot of the time he's been afraid to come out and even talk about it. He's thrown others under the bus by making them come out. Talk PR shit, bollocks, It's the same. And he has to own it now. And I hope he has owned it, that he's cocked up with all this. because you keep telling your players to play one way, and then suddenly you've got to switch it in this Ashes test, Ashes series. You've got to switch your way of play. And how do you do that after being told so long you've got to go out there and keep smashing the ball and keep going big? You know, don't rein it in. Don't play sensibly at times. You know, just keep going after it. Keep trying to go after the bowler. Go big against them. But you can't always do that. And England haven't got the players to do all that. We think they could have been. I mean, Root, you'd always get the same with Root. He's a legend, absolute quality, world-class player. Joe Root, but he's got his way of playing, and that suits him. And that is the way he should play. He shouldn't play any other. You know, he does do a little bit of baseball at times, and he can switch to that quite well. But he plays his own way, and I think these players should have been told, well, no, you can think about it, you can rein it in, you can get the shots out when you want it, and do it when you need to. But play sensibly and block it, or try and see through an over or two. Don't just go straight after these bowlers who are actually top class still. You know, Mitchell Starc, he's fucking quality still. I think he's, 35, 36 or something now. But he's still an amazing bowler, and it showed it in this Ashes, how great he still is. And, you know, Pat Cummins wasn't totally fit. And he still isn't. I think he's got a back issue. And even after this last one, he come in and got rid of a lot of batsmen as well. Great bowling and stuff. And, you know, he's quality. And now he can have a rest because he's come back and done the damage. So he could probably, he could, you know, not even play in the last two test matches. Because they've done it. They won it. They won the Ashes already. Retained it. So he doesn't have to play again. He can keep, you know, he can rest up now and rest his injuries, rest his back or whatever. Nathan Lyon has obviously pulled a hamstring. So, and he done the damage anyway with his spinning. You know, great spin. Where was our top class spinner? We kept going with Bashir, and then suddenly dropped him now because he hasn't quite been up to it again. So why has he spent all this time? Because Stokes loves the Shoaib Bashir as well. But he hasn't played in this. He hasn't played a game in this Ashes. He's been playing mainly for the Lions and not ripping up trees either. And instead, we go for a part-time spinner in Will Jacks, an all-rounder. Yeah, he can smash the ball. We know how good he is with the bat. He's a fine batsman. He's actually done pretty well with the bat here. You know, toughed it out a bit more with Stokes when he was getting going. He was getting the innings, staying in there. And, you know, lasting. And, you know, trying to stay solid and not go after it all the time. But he's no spinner. He's no top class spinner. He's not like say we've had with Jack Leach or anything like that, or Graham Swan, of course. On me, or the spinners in the past that we've had. You know, he's a part timer, and it's shown that. Yeah, he's got 2 or 3 wickets, but some of them mainly were gifts, and they were poor deliveries, and yet he got the wickets. But he's not a top class spinner. He's a part timer. He's not front line. Really, we could have had the likes of Rian Ahmed, who we've been going with before, or Hartley. But no, we couldn't do that. We couldn't bring a replacement spinner. We couldn't bring replacement openers. We've only got one batsman that can come in, and that's Jacob Bethel, which I think may happen now. I think he will possibly come in and probably come in for Pope at number 3. So that's another change. I think they may just bring in some other bowlers possibly now. Bring Atkinson back maybe for Cast maybe, or someone else. I think he may come back in, Atkinson at least, but you can't drop Josh Tongue. I think he's got, is it 4, 5, maybe 6 wickets altogether? I think he got 5 altogether. So you cannot drop him. He's been great. So you just can't drop Josh Tongue now. You can also maybe bring in Potts as well. But I think that's not a real issue. That's not a real issue. And it is mainly the batting. I think mostly our bowling was good, although at times it was a bit wayward and not quite. I think we've learned at last. It has been too late that we've learned how to bowl on these wickets, and we've learned from the Aussies how to bowl properly. But maybe that might serve us now good for properly to go into these last 2 Test matches. That we have to somehow get some pride back and possibly win them both if we can. At least win one. At least that's something to show. But I'll carry on reading this, of course. Brendan McCullum is eager to stay on as England's head coach, but admits his future is up to other people after losing the Ashes in just 11 days. Well, it's not totally up to other people, Brendan. You can walk if you want to, if you have to. If you don't feel you've done well enough, and just admit how bad it's been, you walk. You don't have to leave it to other people. I mean, I know he spoke about he'd like to be here in 4 years' time? 4 years, no, when are we talking? 2027? So, well, that's 3 years, I should say then. He wants to be there in 3 years' time. So, that's not exactly in your hands, mate, my friend. It's not. We have to see what happens. If you lose 5-0 here, I think you should go. You maybe just walk. Any of us in this position think we're not good enough, we've not done well enough, we've ultimately failed, we'd walk. We'd fall on our swords and go. Yeah, admits his future is up to other people after losing the Ashes in just 11 days. Just 11 days. That's all it's taken. The New Zealander branded this winter's tour of Australia as the biggest series of all our lives. But saw his hopes of delivering the urn evaporate after humbling defeats in Perth, Brisbane and Adelaide. McCullum's predecessor, Chris Silverwood, did not survive a 4-0 thrashing 4 years ago, and questions are already being asked about who should carry the can for the latest defeat down under. McCullum is keen to pick up the pieces from a desperate trip and be part of the rebuild, but understands that his fate lies in the hands of others. Asked if he would still be in charge at the start of the English summer, he said, "I don't know. It's not really up to me, is it? I'll just keep trying to do the job, try to learn the lessons that we haven't quite got right here, and try to make some adjustments. Those questions are for someone else, not for me. Sometimes you don't win, and then those decisions are up to other people. It's a pretty good gig. It's good fun. You travel the world with the lads and try to play some exciting cricket and try to achieve some things. I don't do anything to protect the job. For me, it's a matter of trying to just get the very best out of the people and try to achieve what you can with them. I'm enjoying the time that I've got with these guys, and I think we have made some progress from when I took over to where we are. We're not the finished article, no shit, Sherlock, that's for sure. But I think we've definitely improved as a cricket team. We've had an identity about us. You're always looking at what you've got right and what you've got wrong, and you're not too ignorant to admit, or too arrogant either, that you get some things wrong. It's okay, as long as you don't keep making the same mistakes. Time to show our identity. There are 2 more games left, starting in Melbourne on Boxing Day before moving on to Sydney for the New Year test. Lose both and it may become impossible for any of the key decision makers to hold off the tide. That means they are anything but dead rubbers for a management team and a squad looking to save their international careers. Now's the time for us, in the last 2 tests, to really show our identity, McCullum said. What I'm trying to achieve with this team and what the skipper's trying to achieve is to try and finish this tour with some pride salvaged and from what's been pretty disappointing so far. I'll always have the back of my players and always support them, and I'll always make sure that I'm protective of them as well in a public forum. That doesn't mean you don't change privately, but in the public forum you're always protective. I wouldn't imagine anything would change in the coming days as we look to try and salvage something from this. Yeah, exactly. I have conviction in the style of cricket and that I try to get the players to play, the teams to play, with the players that you've got who are suited to it. So Andrew Strauss, the last England captain to win an away Ashes series 15 years ago, has warned removing McCullum or captain Ben Stokes would not be enough to change a depressingly one-sided story in Australia. Strauss wrote, "So there it is, another ambitious set of England cricketers made the journey to Australia, full of hope and optimism, only for their dreams to come crashing down around them after only 11 days of cricket. McCullum and Stokes would come under extreme scrutiny for the decisions they took in preparation for this tour, in the same way that Ashley Giles and Chris Silverwood did for the last tour, and Andy Flower after 2013-14 and Duncan Fletcher after 2006-07. While they know that this goes with the territory, none of the above are responsible for England losing so incredibly consistently in Australia since 1986-87. We have been badly mauled time after time over there because Australia are a better team, served by a better high-performance system. If we are genuinely serious about changing this depressingly one-sided story, then we need to look beyond sacking England coaches and captains and ask whether we are genuinely willing to make the changes necessary to break the trend." Yeah, so there it is. I mean, these are all big words from McCullum. Big words coming out now after this defeat, after the 3-0 defeat. It's big words from him. But hold on a minute, guys. I just want to sort my nose out. Got a bit of a cold, so. Yeah, apologies there, guys. You didn't want to hear or see me blow my nose because, as I say, got a bit of a cold at the moment, unfortunately. But for me, I want to see if he can change the way he plays, and you know, he's got to be able to change and adapt to what he's been doing. And if he can't, he has to go, because this isn't the way. It hasn't worked out. And we've got to learn to. I mean, the fact that he just wanted to go with the same players every time, it was, stubbornness and arrogance, I think, to think that you stick with what you've got and they're the best, and and you can't get anyone else in that's banging down the door in county cricket. The likes of Dom Sibley again, that yes, we had before, we discarded, think wasn't quite up to it, but he's been amazing in county cricket. He's changed his game since he played for England last time, and now he's a much better player, a great player. And the fact that he can't come back in, the door isn't open to him. It's pretty pathetic. It's terrible. We think stubbornly here, like head first, with his head, with the head, stubbornly saying, look, no, we're sticking with what we got. We don't allow anyone else into this. It's jobs for the boys. It's our, this is our lads, and that's it. We ain't going to change this team. No matter what anyone else is doing, achieving. We cannot change this. We're sticking with this lot. We got the same players. And yes, the problem is we have had that problem in the past. We do discard too many players. We would, how many, different players, openers were we having, trying them all, and when they failed, we just got rid of them. They couldn't last long enough, got found out, and then they were discarded. They weren't given a real chance. And the likes of Zach Crawley has been given chance after chance after chance. But yes, I think he's finally woken up and realised what it takes to bat in an innings, an important innings, in important Ashes. He's finally learned what it takes to be able to bat, and he's done it. And it's too little, too late though. Duckett is horrendously out of form. He's looking all over the place. He's looked shot, and I feel if there was somebody else, he would have been dropped. If we had anyone else, a replacement opener, I think he would have been gone. I really do. And it goes without saying, Ollie Pope as well, that he can't stay there either. He has been poor. He's been terrible. He always looks like he's agitated to me, and he looks like he's, cat on a hot tin roof, basically. Whenever he comes out to bat, he always looks like he could go at any time. He never looks safe for me. And yet he was another one that stayed there as well. I haven't got rid of him either. He's had all the lives going, and more than 9 lives than the cat. Him and Crawley have had multiple opportunities. Duckett probably has credit in the bank has probably done just enough to be still there. But he does look shot. He looks done. But they can't change him. They can't, unless they put maybe Jacks up to open and drop him down or something or whatever. Although it still won't save him, because he'll still have to play. Harry Brook, for all his talent and class, all his ability, hasn't done it here either, unfortunately. But there has been positives. There has been some pluses. I mean, obviously, Joe Root, we all know, amazing. And he got that monkey off his back and not making 100 in Australia. He'd done that in the second test, made that big 100. So that was great. All good from him. Amazing. And his quality and what a player he is and how many more years he's got, who knows? But all the time he's playing, we've always got a chance because he's an amazing player. Again, he stood up. Yes, lately he hasn't quite done it, but he's had some great deliveries at him to get him out, and hasn't quite done that. But he has made that 100, and he deserved it. And now people can't keep saying, "Oh, he's never made 100 in Australia," because he has. And I still say as well, obviously Ben Stokes has stood up. He's tried to show, leadership, strong leadership and play by example. But he's also come up with some dumb, stupid things that he should have just shut his mouth and just play cricket. And there's cricket do the talking. He's come up with that has-beens thing and, speaking about ex-cricketers that have been amazing and been better than him in the past, the Bothams and all that boycott. Others as well. He's come out and said that about all the has-beens that have played before. The Vaughns, of course, Michael Vaughan, Strauss, whatever, and so forth. And, you haven't done that enough. You haven't been as good as them. You haven't achieved what they've achieved. And so how can you come out and say all that? How can you speak out against these great players that have been there, seen it, done it, bought the T-shirt and won the things, unlike you? So I hated what he said at times, but he is a good captain, no doubt about it. And when he does get going, when he's good, he can tough it out, grit it out, and he's got that ability with the bat. He's an excellent bowler as well, but his body's falling apart. Most of the time, it always looks like he's out on his feet. But he's brilliant as a bowler as well, and a fielder. But unfortunately, his body looks like it's just falling to pieces, basically. But I think maybe he should stay on as probably a captain. I don't know who else you would get in if you got rid of him. Joe Root don't want it again. He don't want the captaincy again. And you certainly shouldn't give it to Harry Brook. He's still too young. He still ain't done enough. I mean, he's been the vice captain, I believe, hasn't he? So, and he's captaining the one-dayers and T20s and so forth, the white ball. But for me, he's not the finished article. He's got to get his game right, and he ain't good enough yet to lead. I don't think myself. So who would you go to as captain? I mean, there's nobody else. There's no other candidates there. So for me, you have to stick with Stokes for at least a while longer, and let him carry on. But yeah, there's, I think another plus for me has been Archer. I think he's actually been a great bowler. He stood up with the ball. He's got those big wickets and bowled fast and been great with the bat. Don't forget. Look what he's achieved with the bat. He got a 50 in that last one, of course, as well. I think he's got an average of 31 in county cricket with a bat. So he certainly can bat, and it was important at times. He had those big partnerships with Stokes and all that. So, he was amazing, I think, as well. He's been great. But there's only a few there. There's a handful of players, you can say, that have done anything and stood up. the whole team, hasn't done it as a whole. And they need to start doing it. They need it now in these last two games. And otherwise, it will be 5-0. I hate to say that. If it is 5-0, McCullum has to go. And I think Key has to go, head of selectors and everything now. I think he is to blame. And I will keep saying the ECB as well. The ECB is terrible. It's badly run by men in jackets, in suits and ties that live in the Stone Age, from a time that how cricket used to be and it's not anymore. It all has to change. There's so much has to change before England become a really great team again. But I'm going to go into this next article. And we'll go through this. This is obviously in The Guardian. Arrogant England's cricket machine collapses like a castle of dust in 11 days. This is by Barney Ronay at Adelaide Oval. So this is Christmas. I'm going to do a bit of singing here. Apologies, guys. Well, it is Christmas as well, but this is obviously in this article, so I'm going to sing this. So this is Christmas. Not John Lennon, unfortunately, but, And what have we done? The Ashes is over, with 2 tests still to come. Sorry about that, guys. Apologies, but I had to sing that. As I say, no John Lennon singing. I didn't have his genius as a writer or a singer or instrumentalist even. But, yeah, I just had to do that. But when the moment finally came, the visuals were perfect. Clean lines, neat angles, figures picked out in crisp afternoon sun against the almost satirical splendour of the Adelaide Oval. Scott Boland took the final wicket, who's been amazing again as well, by the way, for Australia. Supposedly one that was thought of as weak target, weak link, for Australia, and they could get at him. He's been anything but. Been great with the ball and batted as well. Tremendously well, brilliant with the bat as well. Done them low order. Because he's a tail ender, of course, a bowler, and and he came back, no doubt about it. And he came up and turned up with a bat as well. Yes, he took the final wicket to seal Australia's unassailable 3-0 Ashes series lead. The 74th time this moment has been played out down the centuries. And immediately the white shapes converged to form a bobbing huddle. England's batters stood in an attitude of formal deflation. The umpires began their priestly last things walk, framed against that huge empty lime green field. Before long, the players dispersed into handshakes and stump distribution. A final divvying up before this private space is transformed into a public stage. Invaded already by a cavalry of TV plinths, dignitaries, microphone wranglers, transports and trucks. And finally, drawing up the rear, a lone man in shorts with a broom. Because this is cricket and there is always a man with a broom waiting for everyone to go away. Here he comes again, the reaper with his scythe. A reminder, perhaps, that there is a man with a broom who waits for all of us. awaits for us all, I should say, as there is now surely for senior parts of the current England regime. It has taken 11 days of active Test cricket for this powerfully resourced England and Wales cricket board machine to collapse like a castle of dust. Vibes and blue sky whiffle, and to do so before the southern summer has reached its midpoint. So this is Christmas, and what have we done? The Ashes is over, with 2 tests still to come. Sorry, I've done it again. Apologies. There was at least some fight on the final day as England compiled the highest fourth innings score at the ground. But only the kind of fight that points to an absence of fight when fight really mattered. Talent expressed too late, and the rear guard whose only function was to ensure the final moment was delivered in front of an echoey Day 5 crowd. Empty green seats under the distant stands, men with brooms at the fringes. There is no disgrace at all in losing to these opponents. The maths are obvious. There's only one authentically A-list component in either team. Australia's bowling attack is an all-time entity, backed by elite wicket-keeping and catching behind the wicket. The default option, barring some black swan event, is this lone outstanding element decides the series. England's future lies in the nature of that defeat, in losing not just quickly but sloppily, losing in a way that speaks to a basic lack of tension and discipline, a refusal not just to do your homework, but to recognise that homework exists at all. It was illuminating to see Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum close up minutes apart in the moment of defeat. Whatever mistakes might be made along the way, Stokes is an excellent, cricket-smart, emotionally curious England captain. Teams lose, captains lose. This is a person who is very clearly in the right job. At which point, cut to McCullum, out there on the grass doing his best to filibuster, talking about transcendent mental spaces, admitting that he basically just didn't know how to prepare his team, offering thought blurts, guidelines, abstract ideas. McCullum was handpicked for the role by Rob Key, who is also smart and interesting, but remains a managing director of a huge sporting enterprise who have never had any kind of administration job before. A non-details man who hired another non-details man to look after the details of high performance. Squinting past England's head coach at the sunlit victory podium, surrounded by the slick and functional machinery of Australian cricket, it was hard to avoid the sense of a category mistake in train. Somehow Shaggy is driving the mystery machine. Chewbacca has been appointed Supreme Commander of the Rebel Fleet, has hired R2-D2, locked C-3PO in a cupboard and has his feet up on the dashboard while the fighters go down in flames. And yes, nobody should be judged by their press conference, although at moments such as this, it's hard not to look for a little insight and honest consolation. Not for the wall of craning dictaphones, but for the people beyond who love and ultimately pay for this sport, who get up in the darkness looking for a little midwinter light. They said there'd be snow at Christmas. They said buckle up for the ride. Hallelujah. Noel. Be where your feet are as well. Time for another comprehensive root and branch review. The failings of this tour will settle in time. But now the irony of this England team is that they have been revealed to be just that, another England team. Just some guys underprepared and outmatched in Australia. For all the guru speak, the vibes, this has been little more than an act of branding, a gloss that, to be fair, worked pretty well when it had seasoned, ready-made talent to be liberated. With a team to be rebuilt and not simply rebadged, England had been less save the game Buccaneers, more the cricketing equivalent of a middle-aged man with a tattoo and a pair of Converse finding the music slightly too loud at a Coldplay concert. Some of this is very simple. There is a reason England have improved in this series, have improved as this series has gone on. Sorry. This is because they were arrogant or careless enough to think they could get away with not preparing properly. Exactly. Baseball in its pure form defined Test cricket as a game of batting intent, as Australia has demonstrated. It is above all a bowling game. The entire series here has basically come down to bowling lengths. And it is the first principle that bowlers need rhythm and miles in their legs. Instead, England turned up in Perth looking raw and frazzled, bowling like they were still on a wild-eyed stop-off at Singapore airport. This is not a coincidence. Their five seamers in the first two tests had played 2 Red Bull first-class games since July. Meanwhile, all of Australia's bowlers played 3 or 4 Shield games in October and November, apart from the cotton wool encased Mitch Starc, who played 2. England's bowlers looked underdone and unfit. Australia looked relentless. Failing to insist on some kind of Red Bull warm-up was a mistake that will surely be rectified next time. The other element is a lack of analysis and data, of basic intellectual curiosity. The stats are for Pratt's culture. England have run through a random list of skills coaches. They fired some of their analysts, one of whom is said to have annoyed his fellow coaches by sending around bowling pitch maps on the WhatsApp group. How does that look now? How are the groupings down under? While Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson were there, this lack of fine detail didn't matter. These were senior cricketers who could coach themselves. Broad's departure coincided with Baz-era results heading through the floor. The lack of detail has been there in the batting approach, most notably in the collapses. Driving witlessly in Perth and Brisbane. Harry Brook has talked about learning on the hoof mid-series, that he needs to judge the situation and conditions. In his press conference in Adelaide, Zach Crawley still seemed to be digesting the fact Scott Boland never misses his length. Players can be blamed for not being curious. England have deliberately taken away the outside noise, lessened the cognitive load, but something needs to come into that space. Chucking the closed circle of selection, an overly settled squad for this tour, and a disdain for county cricket that helps nobody, that becomes self-fulfilling, and that seems a bit odd in a setup that really could do with some of those traditional virtues of patience and accuracy right now. At the end of which, the age of McCullum feels like trick of the light. Life hack cricket, the sporting equivalent of influencer Ashton Hall, doing a 5-hour morning routine to look good for a busy day doing nothing. This one book can change your life. eat this superfood, lose 10 stone and become a crypto millionaire. In a way, it's still a shame England didn't just see this through. Stick with the vibe. Keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club all the way to Sydney. Because in the end, the nature of their defeat here is a pretty accurate reflection of the sport. It's elitism, the sense of a private cocktail party, a minority sport fed by private schools up against the majority sport in a country where everyone plays. It isn't a mystery why England fell, even if in the current regime they seem to have found a novel way to do it. Can the ECB even afford to fire McCullum, let alone Key? Should the current run of results run to its natural end, the 5-0 immolation? We may well find out before long. Looks like that's it. It's a long article there, guys. A lot of words, but it was good. I think it was great. Informative, I really do. Superb. Got Barney Ronay there. Excellent. Well said. And I pretty much agree with it. I agree with a lot of that. You know, if it does go to 5-0, I think there's going to be a call for them for heads to roll. And being underprepared, there was chance. They could have gone. There could have been practice games. They could have played pink ball cricket. I think it's Lilac Hill or something. They could have played practice. You know, done that. There was other games they could have played against second 11s, or in the end they went for jolly ups and playing golf and so forth. And you know, it's not good enough. You got to relax and try and take things in your stride. It's tough. It's a hard tour in Australia. We all know that. And they're trying to have some fun and get over it. But it was never going to win them a game, and they were never going to win. They passed up the opportunities. They certainly could have won that first test, let's be honest, when they bowled Australia out for a low total, a low score. But no, they ended up cocking that up again. No, it didn't happen. They find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. England, I'm afraid. They really do. But here's somebody, I'm going to go to this article and this will be the last one, guys, and I'm going to bounce. But here's somebody who does know what winning's all about, an Aussie legend. You could sometimes hate him. He was a bit of an irritant, a bit of a mouthy shit when he played. But he's competitive and a great bowler. A metronome who's called as a bowler, and that's Glenn McGrath, who does know about winning. He knows a lot about winning. And I want to read this article from him. And this is very apt, and I think it shows. And he knows all about what it's like to win and play well and get wickets, even get runs at times. But he's got loads of wickets, as we know. Okay, no longer plays. He retired a while back, but he was quality. He was an absolute legend, brilliant player of the game. Another great from Australia, of course. So, mentality is reason for England's losing streak in Australia, says Glenn McGrath. BBC Sport pundit Glenn McGrath. I honestly thought this Ashes series would be a change for Australia. I always give my 5-0 prediction because that is what's expected of me. Everyone would be disappointed if I didn't. England came here with a big reputation. We heard lots about how this was their best chance to win here since 2010-11. and how this was the worst Australia team since then. No one expected Australia to be 3-0 up after 3 tests. We can criticise England, and plenty of people have. But we also must give immense credit to Australia for the way they have played. Exactly, of course we do. England have now gone 18 tests without a win in Australia. 16 of those games have been wins for Australia. Of the 2 draws, the one in Sydney 4 years ago was only because England's last pair managed to hang on at the end of the game. It's almost beyond belief that an England team has gone so long without winning a test in this country. I played in a great Australia side and never lost a home Ashes. Even the teams I played in, alongside some wonderful players like Shane Warne, Ricky Ponting, the War Brothers, Adam Gilchrist, Matthew Hayden, and plenty of others, were occasionally beaten in a test by the touring English. I do not believe England's long barren run in Australia is down to the quality of their players. Think of all the men who have been part of England Ashes teams since they last won in Australia. Alistair Cook, Kevin Peterson, James Anderson, Stuart Broad, Chris Wokes, Mark Wood, Jofra Archer, the list goes on. Joe Root and Ben Stokes, the cornerstones of this current team and 2 of the greatest to ever play for England, have never won a test here. If this long winless streak is not down to ability, it must be down to mentality. So often I hear the English talk up how difficult it is to come to Australia. Not just what happens on the field, but everything that goes on away from cricket. It's all about getting sledged in the airport or in restaurants. England players talk about having to take on the entire country rather than just the Australia team. There is so much discussion about conditions in Australia, the pitches and the heat. Captain Stokes even admitted it himself when he said Australia is no place for weak men. Exactly. To flip it the other way, Australians see an Ashes tour of England as the absolute pinnacle. It is the series everyone wants to be involved in. Yes, we know it's difficult, the crowds can be hostile, and the Barmy Army are pretty good when it comes to sledging with witty songs. Alongside that difficulty are some of the most enjoyable times to be a cricketer for Australia. As a player, as a bowler, I loved getting the Duke's ball in my hand. It was always so special to play at Lord's. I would relish a tour to England. Can England players get themselves into a state of mind where they relish a tour of Australia? Rather than talking it up as the hardest thing they will ever do? There is certainly a difference in mindset between the 2 countries. I've heard the phrase a lot over the past few weeks. One that comes up with England seems to be threatening to do well. It's the hope that kills you. Honestly, that saying does my head in. It does not take much for English hopes to be raised swiftly, only to be dashed more quickly. I can't understand why anyone would ever lose hope. In my life, with everything I've been through, I know that human beings always have to hope. That is the Australian mindset I'm talking about. We are not win at all costs, and we never give up until the last run is scored or the last ball is bowled. We always go out there to give it a red hot crack. My mentality and that of the team I played in was a game would be won from absolutely any position. A game could be won from absolutely any position. Stoke that's the thing there. I can't show that about Stokes reacting there. But can England remove those mental blocks before the next Ashes in this country in 2029-30? I'll say it's 2029. Yeah, but that's there. Obviously, they're coming to England. The return is in England, of course. Before then, they have 2 more opportunities to end their winless streak, with tests in Melbourne and Sydney. In my last column, following England's loss at the Gabba, I said they needed to win the 3rd test in Adelaide, so this tour could get embarrassing. England did not win at the Adelaide Oval and are now facing a huge challenge to avoid being beaten 5-0. Towards the end of the 3rd test, England at least showed a willingness to adapt their style, which meant they were able to compete. Why it took them 2 defeats to realise that will remain a mystery. Still, the signs for an improved performance in the 4th test are good. However, if we're talking about mentality, it will not get any easier for England. Now, due to playing in front of 100,000 spectators at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, most of whom will be firmly behind Australia. The Boxing Day Test is an institution in Australian sport, and the atmosphere on Friday will be electric. It will be a tough place to be an English cricketer. England should embrace the challenge, react to it, and enjoy it. It could be a valuable lesson for the players who come back to Australia in 4 years. There is still time for England to salvage something from this tour. Right now, there is a lot of discussion about futures, of who might still be involved when England play next play Test cricket in their home summer. Those debates will lose their venom if England can end their winless run here. Losing 3-2 would be so much better than losing 5-0. If England do not find a way to alter their mentality, then 5-0 is the most likely outcome. And there you go, there's a man that's won it. Been there, seen it, done it, bought a t-shirt. And what he says is totally true, guys. It's amazing. That's have to trust and go with everything he says. That's agree with all that from a master, a legend of the game. And he's totally right. He's 100% right, Glenn McGrath. He really is. And if they can't sort this out, they lose 5-0. I think heads should roll. And for me, you've got to get legends of the game in. You've got to get people in, the likes of Vaughan, the likes of Boycott, and people like that, Tuffers even, Peterson, have been there, seen it, done it, and know about it all. And coaches like, I would say, Jonathan Trott or Ricky Ponting. Yes, an Aussie. But he knows about it all. He's been there, seen it, done it. Yes, okay, Stokes, has-beens, yeah? Has-beens. But they know what the fuck they're doing. And in, Trot, whatever, would be amazing. They've got to get somebody else in. They've got to change this mentality. They've got to change the way they play. Because if they do lose 5-0 and McCullum cannot adapt, cannot change things, what's the point of him being there? I think Stokes should stay. I still think he's our best captain. Even though he looks like he's falling apart at times and looks like he's run his race, he's knackered. But he's still our best, probably. I don't think he's the best all-rounder we have totally got. The likes of both of them, and he said a lot about all that. And we've had amazing all-rounders in the past. Both of them was amazing. He's not like that, but he has done some fantastic things for us. Ben Stokes, no doubt. But he might be the only one to keep his job, possibly. And if that is the case, I would definitely get the likes of Ponting in or Trott, an ex-England player, as we know, for many years. He's South African as well, but he was brilliant for England. You know, another legend that's been there, seen it, done it, and he's been great with Afghanistan, coaching them. You know, got them a long way in cricket. So I would at least get one of them in. And you've got to change it up there with the selectors. You've got to bring in other. I mean, there was talk of Harmison coming in to, you know, he was asked before to come in as a selector. He could do. Alex Stewart was another one. Let's get them in, because if these guys know who they should pick and won't keep it at certain players, won't be stubborn enough to say, let's just keep it at these, can change things, you know, can change things up. Why not? It's got to be changed. There's got to be something done about this, guys. It cannot continue. Because if it does, we'll be here again. I'll be here again saying that same thing the next time the Ashes are played, and that'll be in England. And Australia will love it. They would fancy their chances to come and get it again, retain the Ashes again. And we got to stop that. We got to think differently now and change the way we play. You know, before it's too late. It's bad enough we've lost this in the space of 11 days and the 3-0, you know. No, it's not good. It's been disappointing. And, you know, I've switched off from watching England. Now, I don't want to know. I've had enough. Because it's the same old, same old. I keep going into it, you know, the same rant. So it's Groundhog Day. And yes, I think it's taken them ages to realise what they should have done. They had to lose 3 games, well, 2 games mainly, to start playing properly, as Glenn McGrath said. So let's change it, guys. It's got to be changed. If we lose 5-0, for me, it's got to be. I mean, it probably should be anyway. We've lost this Ashes. We probably should change it. But as it has been said, and even lots of toughers have said, you can't just change things, rip it up. He mentioned you should keep McCullum and Stokes, but as long as they can change it. As long as, say if McCullum goes, Stokes is receptive to anyone else taking charge, you know, the likes of Trott or Ponting or whatever, and the others behind him, say Vaughan or Tuffers and so forth, you know, that can come in and give their ideas and support and try and change things around. If he's receptive to that, Stokes, he should definitely stay. But we'll see, guys. There's a long way to go. And I will probably do something maybe after the next one. Because it's Boxing Day is the next test, of course, the 4th one. Depending how we do there, I mean, if we can win that, I'll have a lot of positives to say. And yes, okay, it'll never change. We've lost it. We've lost this series. That's never going to change that. But if we can win at least 1 or 2 games, get a bit of pride back at least. At least, you know. Don't end up being like a 4-1 or, well 4-0, 5-0, whatever. Don't let that happen. And then at least you can hold your head up a little bit with that, a bit of pride. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts, and I had to go into that. as I say, we'll possibly do after the 4th test. Then again, if I don't, it will be obviously a review and see where things have gone, where it should go after this, after the actual Ashes, and see what they talk about. If they go to Key, or talks with McCullum or Stokes or whatever, we'll find that out after the Ashes. No, after what's actually, we find out the final scores and the final whatever results. So, anyway, guys, as I say, it's been a great stream. Thanks to the people that have been in the live chat, Orest and Luca. Thanks for coming in, guys, and thanks for all your support for everyone once again, as I mentioned before. All your support, it means a lot. Follow me on Insta at Mr. B for Life 182 and subscribe to Mr. B Hive Football Chat. And as I say, keep smashing those likes. And many thanks, as I say, for getting me to 200 subs once again. Brilliant. Please keep subbing from now until and into the new year. Get me going up all the way more. Get me to 250 for another milestone. It'd be great. And then to 300, of course. And keep that going. I want to keep banging this content out. I know I'm not always, a lot of the time I'm not on time. I need to work on that. I keep saying that. And no doubt I'll say it this Christmas again. In my resolution. I'll probably say that again. I'll do these streams on time. I'll start them on time and whatever. But that won't happen, so I probably won't say it. I won't give that as a New Year resolution, because I can't, keep to it. So it's no good. I'll always keep breaking that resolution. But yeah, anyway, this has been a great stream. A shame I didn't get any guests on to debate this. That was a real pity. But I thought I had to carry on and do this and really go into it. And as I say now, I'm going to do the celebration stream for the 200 subs. That's to come, whether that's today. It may be. I might do it. I'm possibly thinking maybe 10 o'clock, possibly. I may do that. Not entirely sure at this moment in time. But yeah, it may happen. If it's not, it'll be tomorrow. But I have got another buzz one tomorrow, and that's to do with the World Cup. So I'll be doing that, talking about the shambles there, with the draw and everything. And maybe a season, I'm thinking of possibly doing that as part with a season review of the bees and everything as well. How we've been doing, so far. Our progress or lack of it at times or whatever. So watch out for that one, guys. And, because obviously it's Christmas Eve tomorrow. So I will still stream. And of course, on me, there may be one Boxing Day or Friday. I'm not totally sure at the moment because I've got the preview for the game against Bournemouth, of course, so at the GTEC. So, yeah, there's plenty more to come, guys, before the new year. I've got plenty more streams to come. But thanks to everyone that has been watching. Please, I hope you've enjoyed it live or playback or whatever. And always watch it on playback if you can, guys. If you miss it live, then watch it on playback. And keep those subs coming and the likes. It's always welcome and appreciated. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to bounce. If you don't see me later for the stream, the celebration one, it'll be tomorrow at some stage. But for now, guys, I'm going to bounce. Thanks, everyone. I'm out of here. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone. Bye.